Reich Watch.
So what is the solution? What can Trump do to avoid this? He can shoot down those satellites today. Just simply.
And I know you're getting a message of the president today on that, and we're just going to leave it at that. But that's actually super smart because they're already threatening to fire missiles, maybe with nukes on them at Guam or Hawaii, Kauai, or Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, or Chicago, Illinois. They can hit all of them. If that guy's saying he's doing this, he's got weapons up in space. We've got missiles that can shoot down satellites. Absolutely. And they've threatened that maybe they've got nukes on board to cause an EMP jacketed in the right alloy to cause, a larger EMP. We need to shoot those down immediately.
And Trump needs to know that. He's been set up on this. And even his deep state people that are giving him advice think that this is going to lead to more war that they profit from. He's got to shoot him down. That's the Trump card they hold over him.
And no one will even know what happened to him. That's the great, we've got satellite killers in space. No one will even know. We can kill them from space.
Yeah, easy as can be.
I told you. Alex Jones is a closeted Nazi. He's not very closeted anymore. He's been defending the white supremacists, alt-right, neo-Nazis, whatever title they choose today, Alex Jones will defend them. He's claiming that Charlottesville was innocent, and yeah, you've probably heard him. But it's disgraceful, and he's just as disgraceful as Donald Trump, who also is a white supremacist Nazi supporter. And I've been saying that from day one, because the history proves it. And his father was a member of the KKK. And maybe Donald Trump is too. We don't really know. But he sure supports them. Anyway, I could have made 10 or 15 videos over the last few days to express my anger at what I saw, but what's the point? Thought I'd make this instead. Alex Jones is coming out of the closet recently. And you'll see that if you watch more of his videos. He's becoming bolder with his beliefs. And I have years of examples of him being a white supremacist. So if anybody wants to challenge that, I can produce the evidence. And I will in the future. But let's get to this video. I'm going to show that Alex Jones is back to his old tricks around the time of Y2K, where he made up stories to panic the public. And he's doing it again, and he's doing it conveniently to get everybody's minds off of Donald Trump's legal problems. And that's another reason I didn't make videos about the Charlottesville disaster, is because that and the North Korea fraud to make everyone scared of North Korea, all designed to get the news off of Donald Trump. The news was 24/7 about Donald Trump's legal issues with the Russia connections and Robert Mueller's investigation. That all went out the window with a whole bunch of hype about North Korea, nukes, Notice they went right to nukes to frighten everyone. That's what Donald Trump did himself. He played the press and they took the bait. And then after that, his friends in the alt-right, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, they did him another favor by staging this rally and creating a giant disaster. And everyone's talking about that. So I don't want to participate in getting everybody's mind off the ball. The main issue is Donald Trump is a traitor, and he's going to be busted by Robert Mueller's investigation. Guaranteed. Now, will he go to jail? Probably not. Will he be impeached? Almost guaranteed. But we'll see. The other little trick up Trump's sleeve might be to start some sort of a war and implement war powers, which are very powerful, and that's why he should be removed from office immediately, because we're in a danger of this guy pulling some kind of trick and taking some sort of dictatorial power to save himself. That's my opinion. So on to this video. I play this interview that Alex Jones did, and it speaks for itself. I interject throughout. Enjoy.
Okay, crack this nut for us on North Korea, then we'll come back and get into the behind the scenes Trump's Christianity.
Trump's Christianity. Trump is not a Christian. He's never been a Christian. He's just using that for political purposes.
Okay. North Korea obviously has been the big story on the news the last couple of weeks, and for good reason.
For good reason, to distract from Trump's legal problems. North Korea fear is all fake.
First of all, let me give you a little background on this thing. I made a movie called Amerigeddon a couple of years ago, and I wrote the script along with Mike Norris, Chuck Norris's son. And in the movie, we depicted what I call the greatest threat to the United States. And that was the fact that North Korea has 2 satellites that circle our country twice a day, right across the center of the country at the optimum altitude for something called a super EMP, or an electromagnetic pulse. And what that means is that North Korea has the ability to detonate this device.
Note this InfoWars article written by Paul Joseph Watson, a British subject and likely MI6 agent, writing fear porn articles that Alex Jones promotes to scare Americans.
And according to 2 congressional studies, that if they detonated this EMP device, that electronics all across the country would be fried. Now, what does that mean? It means there's no electricity, there's no internet, there's no water, there's no grocery distribution, there's no gas distribution.
Do not be afraid.
And 2 congressional studies concluded that 90% of Americans would die within 12 months. Now, I thought this was a pretty important thing for the American people to know.
So I could sell my DVD.
And I had realized that the mainstream media was not talking about this. They were literally withholding this information. And our Congress, which had the power to pass laws to harden the grid and protect us from this very real threat, had done nothing. And in fact, they were bought and paid for and silent on this issue. And I wanted to do something about it. So I became an expert on EMP.
He's a self-proclaimed expert on EMP.
So suddenly, here we are dealing with North Korea and the threat of ICBMs, and nobody is talking about the real threat, which is an EMP.
Nobody's talking about unicorns.
You know, on Thursday last week, I went to the New York Times and I read every story on North Korea that had been written over the previous week to see if anybody in the mainstream media was talking about or warning the American people about EMP. And it was so silent on the subject, I realized that, of course, is by design.
No one's talking about unicorns, so there's a plot.
So what is it that's going on with Trump right now?
He's under investigation for colluding with the Russians and treason. You know, what you guys are trying to distract from?
Well, he has been kind of prodded and sucked into this trap where, because of his blustering, he's going to have to do something if Kim Jong-un does something provocative. For example, Kim Jong-un threatened to detonate these nuclear devices somewhere near Guam, not over Guam, but somewhere near.
North Korea never said they were going to detonate nuclear weapons near Guam. There's not even proof they have nuclear weapons.
Trump's going to have to back that up with something. His options, none of them are good. They include maybe a strategic nuke.
A strategic nuke. These guys are promoting preemptive nuclear strikes.
Maybe hitting some of these weapons that are on the border of Seoul. And by the way, I've been to Seoul. I've got 400 curves in Korea, and so I've been there multiple times. They're very vulnerable to this maniac across the deal. So what's Trump going to do? And who benefits from the verge of World War III?
Trump benefits from this ridiculous fear porn that you're promoting.
Well, first of all, the deep state, which now has encircled Trump with his 3 generals, they control all access to Trump. They are part of a group that profit from war.
You mean the same Trump who just increased the military budget by $50 billion?
And, they want us in Syria. They want us spending tax dollars to fund their war machine. And the military-industrial complex, we all realize, really owns Congress at this point in time.
And they own the draft dodger named Donald Trump.
And, of course, the corporatists, and I'm talking about pharmaceutical companies and big ag and big oil, and, of course, let's not forget big banks.
You mean the Jews?
They all, have this globalism move that will enrich them. But let's not forget there's actually another paradigm above even the globalist, and they're the Illuminists.
The Illuminists? You mean the Illuminati? Like the Freemasons that Alex Jones is a part of?
The Illuminists have a different agenda. They want America to diminish. They want America to get out of the way because we're the only thing standing.
And that's why they want to take out Trump. They don't want to make America great again. So when we come back, finish up on this. Diamond and Silk are joining us, but I want to finish up on Korea and why you think it's a trap they're setting up for Trump, but it's a trap actually they're going to be caught in. Stay with us. We'll be back with Gary Haven.
So the end game of this is Trump's going to be faced with several bad choices. And when he responds, as he's going to have to do because of all the blustering he's done, the secret weapon that North Korea has is this EMP that I was talking about, this electromagnetic pulse.
And this man is somehow privy to what secret weapons North Korea has.
And if and when they detonate that thing, and 90% of Americans are at risk for dying.
Do not be afraid.
Trump is going to get the blame. And that's what they have in mind. And you got to remember the
but it's funny you say that because they had an emergency black sky event they've never done last week preparing for this that got almost no coverage.
Yeah, and they always tend to have a false flag, or excuse me, a drill whenever weird things happen.
An exercise.
And isn't that interesting that they've got one for that as well?
Ah, a drill. Just like with Sandy Hook. As Alex Jones promotes, it was a drill. And other masked individuals who promote Sandy Hook hoax are also promoting this bullshit.
But at the end game, this is what's so fascinating about this. The deep state that wants war and corporatism. War
and corporatism. Like the billionaire Donald Trump supports with his $50 billion more for the military.
Is going to lose on this one because the ultimate power, the Illuminists, are the ones that are going to bring America down, get us out of the way so that they can have their true global order, which is a communist world government ran by dictators or an oligarchy made up of them.
Ah, we're back to fear of commie dictators. Or would it be possibly fascist dictators like Donald Trump?
So what is the solution? What can Trump do to avoid this? He can shoot down those satellites today.
He's calling for preemptive war.
just simply.
And I know you're getting a message of the president today on that, and we're just going to leave it at that. But that's actually super smart because they're already threatening to fire missiles, maybe with nukes on them at Guam.
No, again, North Korea never said they were firing missiles with nukes on them at Guam.
Or Hawaii, Kauai, or Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, or Chicago, Illinois. They can hit all of them. If that guy's saying he's doing this, he's got weapons up in space. We've got missiles that can shoot down satellites. Absolutely. And they've threatened that maybe they've got nukes on board to cause an EMP jacketed in the right.
Can you tell when someone is selling you a line of bullshit?
Alloy to cause a larger EMP, we need to shoot those down immediately.
And Trump needs to know that. He's been set up on this. And even his deep state people that are giving him advice think that this is going to lead to more war that they profit from. He's got to shoot him down. That's the Trump card they hold over him.
And no one will even know what happened to him. That's the great. I mean, we've got satellite killers in space. No one will even know. We can kill them from space.
Yeah, easy as can be.
Arrest Alex Jones immediately for trying to instill fear in the public. Perform harsh interrogation, the type that he justifies. Determine his connections to British intelligence via Paul Joseph Watson, someone who writes half the articles for his websites. Determine his connections to Russian intelligence and the collusion he had during the election with Russian click farms thumbing up all of his videos and articles and therefore generating revenue for him. Determine what happened and put him on trial.